Okay, so I'm making these videos to document the healing process of my accident that unfortunately happened 5 days ago. I'm doing this for not only musicians, guitar players, but anyone really, but I think this will be particularly relevant for musicians. So, 5 days ago, I unfortunately came over the front of my handlebars in traffic on my bicycle, and the front tyre went completely flat and broke both of my radial bones in my arms. So I broke the neck of my radial bones. So we have the radial head that slots in here, and the neck is the part that comes just before the ball here, going down the rest of the arm. There's two bones in the arm. So it was excruciatingly painful. Now I'm able to move my right one, so I want to talk a little bit about what the last 5 days have been like. The initial injury, the most excruciating thing I've ever felt. It took 2 lots of IVs with 2 kind of painkillers in it to make any difference, and unfortunately I had an allergic reaction in the ER room to it. Then I was on I could still be optionally if I want to, on a opioid oxymodon, I can't remember, any oxy, a very strong opioid painkiller that combined with a bit hazy because I'm not sleeping the best, right? So the first 3 days were difficult because you're just waking up in pain, like agonizing pain, right? The oxy did something, but at the same time it was excruciating still. So I was given slings. Fortunately, my injuries, I found out yesterday that the bones in both of my arms are straight enough, so they don't need to be corrected. Thank heavens! Wow. So for me, it looks like it's going to be a good road to recovery, but that hasn't come without its difficulties. I've been exceptionally swollen, right? Of course, my shoulder, not to mention my body's extremely tense because, I've never experienced something like that before. Like, my whole body was in shock and my legs and my arms were just shaking, even though I was totally calm, by a certain point. They were just shaking, like the nerves in my body were just aggravated, and it was very difficult to do anything. So the first 3 days was a lot of any slight micro movements causing excruciating pain. The radial head affects your ability to rotate, pronate and supinate your arms. It's how am I personally combating this? Looks boring. I'm sorry, but how am I personally combating this? So I now realize that any of the strength training or flexibility training that I have done prior to this, like in my life, particularly more recently in the last few months of training at the gym, would have most definitely helped. I'm someone who eats a very high protein diet because I track everything on MyFitnessPal. I generally aim for about 160 grams of protein a day, my body weight, although I'm now 180 pounds. And I aim for that. So that hasn't changed. So I opted for having a very high protein diet. I'm taking calcium, 1,200 milligrams, taking that every day, and 1,000 milligrams of, or universal units of international units, of vitamin D. On top of that, I've been taking 10 grams of creatine anyway for the last month, 2 to 3 months. I'm still taking that. And I take a multivitamin as well. As far as I'm aware, that's everything. I do have a strong feeling that that's definitely helping. I stopped taking the painkillers after the 3rd day because I didn't like the side effects. It's very common to experience like medically induced depression, cloudiness, like drowsiness, very sleepy. I just didn't like it. Patches of sleep here and there when I just kind of give out, and then excruciating pain. My body overheated a number of times. I don't know if that's to do with the temperature here, or if that's to do with the medicine, right? But you're like strapped in. I was doing everything I could. I wrapped my arms in towels because any slight movement, the whole thing would kind of spasm and it would go in the opposite direction. Like, for example, this arm still does it. So any slight movement where it would catch it, like all the nerves in my arm would fire and it would just spasm and it would be excruciating pain. It would be painful. So I wrapped them up as best I could with towels and things so they wouldn't move in any way. The overheating was pretty intense. Dry mouth from the medication and just like cracking headaches. Yeah, so it's day 5. So the progress is that I can now move my arm. I've been doing a little bit every day myself, right, of course. My fingers, I'm grateful my fingers are working. So as a guitar player, fingers crossed, within 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully my bones should have fully healed. But, you know, I'm just shocked that after 5 days, because the x-rays show they were both broken, you know. It's just that they are straight. So I'm shocked that I'm able to move, although it's very stiff, and I have to be very careful. I can't lift anything too heavy, of course. I can't stress the bone too much. I can't squeeze that much without feeling, you know. So yeah, so supination and pronation is getting better. My right shoulder seems to be fine. My left shoulder's jacked. My left shoulder's like, it's knotted. It's very swollen. My arm too. I don't mind showing you here. It's gone down. I'm icing multiple times a day. How am I going to do this? Fuck. Out of my fridge. I'll do this. So I'm icing multiple times a day. There is still, it's hard to tell, but I mean, I normally have pretty defined arms. Body fat percentage isn't that high. You know, like I said, I work out a lot. So it's very swollen still. It feels as though my arm is just crooked. It's not. Doctor says it's fine. It's just that, yes, it is very, very swollen. So yeah, day 6 update, day 5 update.